Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the critically acclaimed. We're giving it out for free tonight, but please believe we're used to that Pop the Trunk podcast, now Patreon exclusively sponsored Hall of Fame. Recency Bias Radio, with me, of course, as your humble host, Dave Smith, Pretty Boy Smitty, Protocol Paul, Pearl Game Ultra, Smith Dog Trill, The Rant God. Hotep Thanos, Metro Kaiba, the pro black prodigy. All of the above on that ISAT test and ACT. You know what it is. Here to bring you all my fourth Challenge 36 rant already, ladies and gentlemen. But this is the final of the preseason rant. The final of the, well, I guess it was a quadruplet, I guess, initially, ladies and gentlemen. But I want to make this point known. Even though this rant will be entitled, ladies and gentlemen, hold on. Even though it will be entitled Agents of Chaos, I wanted to make it perfectly known. The reason why this one is a freebie is because this is the only rant. Matter of fact, this is the last rant that will be available to watch live stream for free, ladies and gentlemen. People have jumped on code this December, and the best way for me to pay them back is to make sure they get the most bang for their buck that they can get. They've already made that five back in spades. I mean, when you break down the Tory Deal video breaking up with Jordan Wisely, that video is fire. It's like a documentary, coach. All right, and then the video after that, I also have one breaking down the super trailer, which we saw at the end of tonight's launch special episode. But I also have another one breaking down the mini trailer from before. Now, some of y'all may have seen this on YouTube or not, I'm not sure. But if you missed it, it's on Patreon. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into breaking this down, okay? Because the episode tonight wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be cringy. I thought they were going to withhold a few things. I thought he was going to leave some bullets in the chamber. But they pretty much hip fired, coach. They let us know what the tone of this season's gonna be. They gave us a great inclination of how the strategic acumen is being dictated this season. Everything that I've thought so far is pretty much coming to fruition. It seems as if CT has a stranglehold on the strategic and political side of this game. Let's be honest with ourselves. Never in my life have I seen Wes look like a deer in headlights on day one, like Wes looks like. Can we be honest with ourselves, ladies and gentlemen? Now, granted, Wes always tries to work with the rookies to create some type of an insurrection and rebellion towards the old guard, if you will, all of the production pet vets that always assemble like Voltron because they're so scared of picking each other off too early and allowing some rookie to pull off a turbo type victory. So I think more so now, more than ever, because of how War of the Worlds 1 went down, because of Turbo winning his rookie season the way he did, I think it makes vets a lot more apprehensive and a lot more hesitant to play the game as they would naturally want to play, ladies and gentlemen. I think this is why you're going to see a guy like Leroy. Look, I know a lot of black folks ain't going to want to hear me say this, but y'all come to this channel to hear my honest opinion. I don't hold my tongue back. I think Leroy and Cam, I think they're going to the Sith. I think they were Jedi Knights in Challenge 34. I think they're going to turn to the Sith Lords. I think they're going to go to the dark side. Look, I know a lot of people are thinking, no, they're not, Dave, come on. But you have to look, see, I'm great at doing this because you can go back and look at my resume of me breaking down the game, and I've been very consistent. If you look at how the politics and strategy was dictated in 34, and then if you look at how it's being dictated now, Cam and Leroy have hit a complete 180. Because technically speaking here, Cam and Leroy should be targets this season as much as Ashley appears to be. Somehow Ashley is consistently still the target, but Cam and Leroy aren't looked to be the target. When Cam and Leroy worked with Ashley to work against Johnny Bananas' alliance in 34. This tells me Ashley is still being judged as a snake based off of her performance in 35 when she tried to spoil Bananas' rigged Challenge 35 party for him to win his Satanist sixth ring. Let's just keep it all the way funky tonight. Now, at the end of the day, coach, let's just keep it all the way funky. That was rigged for Bananas. This is irrefutable at this point. Too many people can prove this to be true. But are you guys noticing something? Now all of a sudden, Devin, the guy that production hated for shitting on Bananas. Now they're co-signing Devin so much, he bent the knee. He went ahead and did a King's Landing, coach. He bent the knee, coach. All right? He did whatever he had to do for Cersei Lannister to be happy. Now, I don't know who Cersei Lannister is. That Morgan Willett in this situation? I don't know. But my point is, coach, at the end of the day, He bent the knee. He cried on Instagram. He showcased beta male tears. And because of that, he's being rewarded. And what did I say to y'all in that super trailer breakdown? I said they're going to reward him for this because they're going to want to incentivize more players to do the same exact thing Devin did. Capitulate. So what do we see in tonight's episode? We see Devin get one of the longest monologues imaginable with Lolo Jones. She's just asking him, all right, rapid fire. Tell me about this person. He was like, Darrell, powerhouse, but not that good at puzzles. Okay, you. I can't do push-ups really well, but I'm really good at puzzles. CT, really dominant in both the strategic and political game. Lolo's like, ooh, political too? Yeah. Like, they're giving Devin the type of spotlight, the type of platform, as if he finished in the final last season. Are y'all feeling it? Are y'all seeing what I'm seeing here? I think Devin is there to play the Johnny Bananas role in terms of no matter what aligning to CT. That's what it looks like to me. It looks like he's been put there as a buffer to guarantee CT gets pushed further. That's what it looks like on its surface. But did you notice how CT, even during this episode, which really wasn't even an episode, he still figured out a way to shit on the new black guy? Did y'all notice that tonight? The new kid, what's his name? Jason? What's this kid's name? Hold on. I took a lot of notes, Coach. Hold on. What's this kid's name? The kid's name is Joseph. My bad, Joseph. I called you Jason, Coach, all right? Now, they treat you like an NPC anyway, so maybe I should forget your name. But at the end of the day, are y'all peeping game on this kid, Joseph? He comes into the damn house. Just because he has a smile on his face, CT got some slick shit to say. Now, remember, when it was Idris, the guy who didn't talk at all, who was to himself, who didn't kiss nobody's ass, who was a boxer, who was very introverted, he was called Ted Bundy. He was called a serial killer for that. Now you got a black man who's into motorsports, things that black people usually aren't into because it's an entry-level fee to get into those type of sports. Same with MMA. That's why I try to stress to people, most black people can box, but we don't really know jiu-jitsu because there's not really a jiu-jitsu place on every corner, okay? Meanwhile, you can get them hands at any park anywhere. But anyway, I'm losing myself here. My point is, ladies and gentlemen, the way he mistreated this guy, Joseph, this is proof CT is just this type of guy. Because when it was Idris, he had some slick shit to say about him. Idris never did nothing to you, CT. Called him a serial killer. Now this kid Joseph comes into the house, very upbeat, positive human being. Nowhere near the stereotypical black guy you expect him to be. And all of a sudden, oh, he's got this look on his face like he thinks it's Christmas or something. You can't win with CT if you're a black man. Can we keep it real? You can't win unless you're Leroy and willing to do whatever CT wants. I'm just saying, Leroy, it looks like you're going to the Sith Lords, my guy. And then for Leroy to end tonight's episode by telling the world, this is my last season. No matter if I win or not, this is my last go around. This is it. This is my last dance. Like, I mean, no disrespect, Leroy, but you acting like you MJ of this shit the way you announcing this. I mean, you know what I'm saying? What did Draymond Green say to Paul Pierce when Paul Pierce tried to have a farewell season like Kobe? He said, motherfuckers don't rock with you like we fuck with Kobe, coach. You're not Kobe, bruh. No one cares, bruh. And I'm not trying to say no one cares about Leroy, because I rock with Leroy. But my point is, even Leroy seems to take himself a lot more serious than he used to. Leroy used to be a little lighthearted, funny. He doesn't have any sense of humor anymore. Everything is so serious now. It's like, damn, the things we liked about you, you just threw away. Sounds a lot like a Jedi going to the Sith Lords, right? All the innocents are disappearing. Cam, now she feels like she has to be the focal point and the spokesperson for Black Lives Matter. Now all of a sudden she's looking like Davon tonight. Did y'all notice that? Now it seems like whatever Cam does this season, she will feel in her mind she is justified because Black Lives Matter is behind every move she makes. And production, let's keep it real, they're going to gaslight her into believing what she's doing is for the betterment of black people because she's setting a standard or being a role model. But in the process, watch production convince her to turn on all the black folks. Oh! Do y'all not see the trick bag that's going on this season? Listen, I got to call it out early. Because if I don't call it out now, people going to say, oh, well, it's easy to say it now, Dave. Where were you before the season? I'm here right now, coach. 2 days before the premiere, I'm telling y'all exactly what it looked like. It's what it looks like. You know? And let's just go ahead, let's go around, let's just fire the Gatling gun. I'm playing Russian roulette. Whoever my mind lands on, they getting a shot to the temple, coach. Let's talk about Faisal. Faisal. This dude comes out the woodworks and says, "Oh, well, Corey and Nelson, Team Young Bucks, their games are too obsolete for me. I'm far too strategic for those meatheads." And I'm like, "Whoa, wait a minute. Wait a minute now." This is Faisal saying this? What is going on? Now Faisal thinks he's a strategic mastermind because he made one final? What is going on? Are y'all watching this? He's like, "Oh, well, I'm gonna align myself with Casey and Josh, two people that belong to the Rainbow Cult, who probably won't have my back when things hit the fan. But for now, I'm gonna act like this is the wisest decision for my game." Faisal, Corey and Nelson are shields for you. You are a powerhouse. Josh and Casey aren't no shield for you, coach. What are you doing? And I already know how this is going to turn out. Look, tonight showed me more than enough. And I'm not into the spoilers, y'all. I'm just telling y'all how I looked at tonight's episode. It looks like Josh and KC are going to hate on Faisal's relationship with Gabby. Hold up, hear me out. This is what it's looking like. It looks like they're going to hate on that because they're going to look at that as Faisal trying to create some type of alliance with the rookies, who I'm assuming Josh and KC will want to throw under the bus because they remember what it was like to be a rookie. KC was a rookie last season. So KC will want those rookies to have to go through those growing pains. Josh will probably want the same thing because he's scared to go in there too early. He want to cause more drama. He want to be invited back. He gets eliminated in episode 2. It makes it a little hard to pitch to come back, coach. Okay, so Josh's game is definitely scared at the beginning. He's always been this way. Keep in mind, these two missed out on BB22 All-Stars for this season. They not trying to take no L early because then they look real stupid on top of getting COVID for missing other stuff. All right? But my thing is, whenever you see a white dude with an attractive, blonde-haired, blue-eyed white woman, Josh usually has a crush on a white girl. Let's be honest. And he usually dick rides the white man that's with her the rest of the season. He did it with Bear already. Correct? So for me to know and already have knowledge of the fight between Josh and Faisal, I have to assume that Josh and KC try to blindside Faisal by getting out Gabby behind his back. That's what I have to assume. Faisal finds out about it and he blows up because you got to remember, Faisal targeted Scotty in BB20. He was willing to nuke his own game, martyrdom. This man was willing, "Oh, I'm going to die. Let me pull out a Simtex. You going with me, coach." He was willing to pull that off, okay? He was willing to do that just to get revenge on Scotty because he knew Scotty liked his woman. Okay? He did that. So this is a guy who is capable of playing highly emotional, and he is, and really for him to be the one, and this is why I started all of this off by laughing at him coming at Corey and Nelson sideways. Faisal, your reputation is exactly the reputation that you claim Corey and Nelson have. Now, whether you're right or not, based off your diagnosis of their gameplay, it shows that you're tone deaf not to realize that's how people perceive you too. So if that's how you're perceived as well, you need to be with the people who are perceived that way as well. Because then you all are shields for each other. No one stands out too much strategically. When you're around Josh and KC, everyone views you as the one protecting them. They view you as their guard dog. And are y'all also noticing something very interesting? The Big Brother Alliance no longer claims Jay. They don't claim Natalie. They don't claim none of them Survivor people. But remember in 35, they were thick as thieves. Now, maybe that was because Swaley may have been one of the voices in the room saying, "Hey, we got to keep Jay close." I don't know. But you want to know my hot take? I'm going to give y'all my conspiracy theory here. This is what y'all here for. Y'all here for the exclusives. I think this Big Brother Alliance, because keep in mind, the Big Brother Alliance is Faisal, Josh, KC, and Amber B. Amber's a rookie. She has no say in what they do. She has to follow the other three. So it's between these three what they do. Faisal's probably going to be thinking more with his small head than his big head, if you know what I'm saying. So that means Casey and Josh are going to have the responsibility of basically controlling 4 people's games, but with 2 people. Now, this gives them a lot of responsibility, but it also gives them a lot of room for error. And Josh is known to make a few mistakes. KC, she's a bit more subtle. But the thing is, I think people underrate the impact Bailey had on KC's social game. I think Bailey being there as someone Casey could come to talk to, it allowed it to be a little bit easier for Casey to get Nani down with her demonstration. Ladies and gentlemen, how many times at a bar, at a club, have you been talking to somebody that you don't really want, but you can tell the person you really want is just, they just eyeing the situation? You can tell the longer you spend around them, the more guaranteed you are to take the other one home at the end of the night. It's like this situation. I think Casey, knowing Bailey was on the season with her, and having someone in Nani she could give information to, microdose information to make Nani believe that she was taking Casey's back against Bailey, right? I think Casey did that to manipulate Nani into thinking Casey really felt some type of way towards her. Now, Casey may have or she may not have cheated on her girlfriend back at home with this woman, and Bailey probably had a problem with that and was trying to hold Casey accountable. Even Anissa tried to hold her accountable. But my point is, I think this time around, Nani and KC, I have a feeling they're not going to be as thick as thieves this time around because they're not going to have the common enemy of Bailey to bring them closer together. This is going to force Casey and Josh to kind of split apart from Nani. And I think based off of how a lot of these previews are being set up, I don't think Nani is going to last that long this season. Now, she could last pretty long. I don't know who her partner is yet, right? I'm just going off of what I'm looking at right now. It's looking like Nani is going to be forced to kind of turn on Josh and KC, depending on who her partner is. I think she's going to be forced to. Now, if her partner happens to be somebody who's aligned to CT in some type of way, then it's highly favorable that all of these people could just flip and try to work together. But if you remember, also in the mega trailer, you saw Josh arguing with CT at the club. I think it's highly probable Josh could turn on Gabby, which turns on Faisal and Corey and Nelson by proxy. This leads to probably Nelson trying to work with Kyle behind the scenes to try to turn on CT, but Kyle's too much of a dick rider. And I think this also could benefit CT's game in the long run, because if you have all of these different pawns not working together to get out the big fish, and instead they're just trying to become a henchman, hey, I'll try out to be one of your henchmen. If all of they're doing is vying to be a henchman, and see, this is the biggest problem the challenge has. I'm just going to be honest with y'all tonight. Because they have so many people who come back season to season, people are scared to make big moves during the season they're currently in because they're worried that could limit their opportunities for a future season. So it's almost as if people are straight tanking. If that's a sports term you all are used to, tanking is basically losing on purpose to get a W later down the road. I think there's a lot of people that play the challenge to lose on purpose, hoping to get a W thrown at them later down the road. You've paid your dues. But that's neither here nor there. Let's get into some more notes, y'all. I've been freestyling the majority of this rant, but I want to let y'all know that I feel good to be back, and it feels good to have you all here. It appears Corey still has PTSD from Challenge 35. Did you all notice how when he was on the bus, first thing he said was, "They're going to take us to a bunker." They was like, "Hey, man, you tripping. They taking us to a house this time, Corey." Man, I'm telling y'all, man, that bunker, man, that he had rashes and shit, boy. He was nervous about that damn bunker, coach. I wouldn't blame him, though. Put me in a damn bunker, we going to have a damn problem. Darrell seems very confident. That's good to see. It's always good to see one of the GOATs return. Darrell is definitely one of the rare players that made me want to watch the show. Seeing someone who looks like me catch bodies and send people to the Shadow Realm. Nani clearly has a false sense of security in this game, but this could turn into a likelihood of the right sense of security, depending on how it plays out, depending on who her partner ends up becoming. Of course, CT was allowed to enter the house first. Ladies and gentlemen, there was just a lot of stuff I noticed tonight I didn't like, man. The way everyone refused to toast to being there until CT showed up. Like, who is this motherfucker? Jon Snow? You know what I'm saying? This is not the Night's Watch, coach. You can do what you want, coach. You know what I'm saying? And they treating Jay like Ollie, ain't they? They treating Jay like shit this season, bruh. I feel bad for Jay, dog. He pulled off the impossible, and now I feel like production is trying to set him up to look real foolish, bro. Real foolish. Real talk. I think they trying to set him up to look foolish. I noticed Josh being super excited about there being a full gym Why does Josh care? He don't lift no weights. He ain't getting no gains. All we ever see is him on a treadmill. He don't need a full gym for that shit, coach. Uh, they gave Big T a sidekick for her side missions, okay? So hopefully her form of minstrel comedy will be less toxic and less cringy. Hey, I know some of y'all might like her, but let's be honest with ourselves. Big T, that type of comedy, that's not the comedy that's designed for black folks to laugh at. Let's be real with ourselves. I know we tend to support black people no matter what because we know that they have limited opportunities here and there, but pardon my French, but I believe Big T is wasting her opportunity every second she's on the show because she's not trying to actually win. In my opinion, she's just trying to get TV time by being Big T. You know, I don't even know her real name, but I'd prefer she starts calling herself by her real name because as long as she's Big T, she's trying to live up to this alias of hers that I think promotes and perpetuates more minstrel comedy on her end. Um, but I will say the new friend she has, Liv, I think Liv is pretty attractive, coach. A lot of people ain't talking about her. She looked like the type of chick who could pearl you up a nice blunt and still give you some. Nah, let me not say that. Women are more than that, okay? She looks like she could read a 500-page book in 14 days and pearl you a blunt. There we go. Let me balance that out better. All right? I got you, ladies. But yeah, so they gave Big T a sidekick. I'm a little worried, though. That sidekick could be another CT Dick Rider. We'll have to pay attention. Yeah, Liv thick as hell, coach. Yeah, she definitely decent. Leroy and Cam, in my opinion, were very smart to decide to sleep in separate rooms this season. This gives them the opportunity to gather twice the amount of intel, not only at night when people are pillow talking here and there, because you know, motherfuckers tell a lot of secrets after busting. That's all I gotta say, coach. Men, we gotta do better, man. We gotta do better. That's how Drake lost the battle to Pusha T, coach. His producer was pillow talking. You know what I'm saying? We gotta learn to just shut up. You know what I'm saying? But no, though, I think this is a big brother tactic that Leroy and Cam are utilizing here. I'm very impressed by it. I could tell Cam if it was up to her, she would sleep in the same room because she don't trust these hoes. But at the same time, though, if we're being honest, Cam, is there really any competition this season that would make you worried Leroy would cheat on you? Not really. I think we've seen much finer bad women on other seasons than this. I think Kaylee is pretty much badder than every black chick on this season, damn near. Kaylee by herself just about washes every black chick on this season. That's not me trying to shit on every black chick this season. I'm just saying Cam doesn't have nothing to worry about necessarily. And hopefully that allows her to keep her eyes on the prize and less on arguing with women, because let's be real, these women are scared of her anyway. Arguing with them will just make them more scared to go down there. We've seen Tori completely capitulate. When Ramen Noodle Cup Nani was talking that hot shit, Cam was like, hey, what's poppin'? Her and Cara was like, what's poppin'? We could go 2v2 Mario Kart Double Dash. What's cracking, coach? You know what I'm saying? They was ready for the smoke. But at the end of the day, you know Tori and them. They don't really want the smoke. I made a point of emphasis of mentioning how everyone was kissing CT's ass, but Joseph, and I think that's why CT doesn't like Joseph. CT seems to be someone, if you don't kiss his ass outright, he clowns you. And that's just what it is. And if you happen to be a black man, oh, he's going to do everything in his power to try to embarrass you. So this tells me that CT is running the show, literally and figuratively. They even gave CT an underdog edit by bringing up his weight loss. Did you all notice that? I mean, wow. And not only that, they also gave Devin a fantastic edit by showing pictures of his biological mother. And if you remember, his whole beef with Bananas stemmed from the death of his father. So do you understand how production is all of a sudden acting like they're on the side of Devin's family when they took Banana's side, when Banana shitted on Devin's passed away father at the time? I think that's very interesting to me, how production is allowed to play this game of musical chairs, and because these people are hurting for money so badly, they allow it to happen. It's really sad. But at the end of the day, I think as a human being, as a player, Devin is he's a unique player. He has a unique skill set, and he is the type of player I do want on a show like this, because I don't think everyone should be a D1 athlete. Right, I think you need some brainiacs. And Devin, if you were to give him a little bit of steroids, in theory he could have that West upside. And now it all comes down to getting back into that groove because he's been missing for a few seasons. He's got to get back into his game shape. That might take him a season or two. But I pretty much am expecting him to kiss a lot of vet pet ass to guarantee he gets 2 seasons in a row to get in shape. Um, uh, Casey actually thinks she has a chance this season. All I put was how cute. I'm frying folks tonight. Teresa has Wes as a partner, and she has beef with Nani. That tells me Wes won't last that long because Casey and Josh already hate him. Teresa being his partner no doubt hurts his chances this season politically even more, even though she is pretty strong as a partner physically. And that's really going to be the biggest initial hurdle for a guy like Wes. Is he going to be able to push enough rookies in front of the bullet to allow him to gain some traction to create some type of a pivot? I don't know if he has enough time. I don't know if Ashley has enough time. I don't know if a lot of these black players have enough time. It looked like Natalie's in trouble, and that's because Big Brother won't co-sign her. They won't bring her into the fold. Same with Jay. So Jay looks in bad. He looks in bad standing. Natalie looks in bad standing. Wes looks in bad standing. Ashley looks in bad standing. Coming out of this episode, those 4 look like sitting ducks to me. Like outside of the obvious, those look like sitting ducks. Leroy appears to be already onto Wes's game, and that's a bad sign because Leroy is really one of the only old school players that could benefit from Wes's gameplay style. But now that we know that Leroy is pretty much going to work with CT, he doesn't need Wes's style. And he probably views Wes's style as more dangerous because Wes does more behind your back. Whereas CT is the one to do something behind your back at the last second. And hey, you go, oh, well, he gave me a chance. And that leads to people trusting him all over again and getting finessed all over again. So, it is what it is. They are already said that about Cam and the whole BLM thing. Nelson is already talking like he's going to betray Corey. He was like, "Hey man, I did a good gesture last season. That ain't gonna happen again, though." I was like, "Hey man, we didn't expect you to do that again. I mean, listen, you proved your loyalty to that man already. And now, at the end of the day, if you go out of your way to turn on him, that's one thing. But if you have no choice, can anyone blame you for that?" There are 2 Ambers on this season. I took note of that. So that Amber M chick, she's getting sent to the Shadow Realm ASAP, no Rocky. You know what I'm saying? Well, I'm going to go ahead and expound further on this. When I already said that, I don't really want to. Yeah, I already said that. It appears Wes could be trying to work with Natalie from Survivor. She operates best next to a mastermind, a Jeremy Collins, if you will. Hopefully Wes can keep her safe, but I think Natalie is being abandoned just like Jay was. And if CT is truly the HOH of this season, which he appears to be, it seems to be Big Brother, but only for CT. This motherfucker's untouchable, ain't he? The Big Brother Alliance could be purposefully distancing themselves from Jay because CT was embarrassed enough by Jay, eliminating him to get back into shape. I mean, at the end of the day, look no further than that. If Jay sending you to the Shadow Realm embarrassed you enough to lose 50 pounds, coach, listen, Jay, maybe you should have took a break this season, coach. Hey, if I take out CT, I'm taking a break, and I'm going to make people think, what if? You feel it, dig me? Because there's a curse to this shit. When you knock out a big player and you give production a chance to embarrass you back, they usually don't bring you back. Look at Ninja. She sent Laurel to the Shadow Realm. Laurel didn't come right back to get revenge, but it didn't matter because they didn't bring Ninja back. Okay? But now, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to get into answering some of y'all questions. Those were pretty much my initial thoughts from this episode. I mean, I roughly got 30 minutes out of that, coach. I mean, at the end of the day, before the season starts, that's as good as it's probably going to get. Another reminder, ladies and gentlemen, if you are interested in future rants breaking down Challenge 36 double agents on this channel, I strongly advise you to become a patron because all of those rants will be exclusive to Patreon. They will be. But let's get into answering questions, ladies and gentlemen, because I have a feeling y'all got some funny stuff to talk about tonight. Oh, yeah. Oh, well, I never said Cam was ugly. I was just talking about Liv being new. You know what I'm saying? I try to give credit to the new women out there because I know it's hard. It's going to be hard. You know. They mentioned that CT is separated from his wife to give him more sympathy. Exactly, to make it seem like he needs the money more, as if she divorced him and took half of his shit when probably they're just separating. They'll get back together once he wins or something. You know how they do it. Um, and they never really get into why they separated. We don't know if it was his fault. We don't know if it was her fault, but it could have been his fault. But production will never tell us because CT's a damn executive producer. Yeah, Casey, I don't know what she's thinking, Coach. I like Ninja too as well, Coach. I didn't have a problem with her. Is there rigging on this show too? Basha, I'm gonna keep it all the way funky with you, Coach. I am the person who I was the first person who really broke down Gurney Gate. Okay, Gurney Gate is an epic rant. I just wish I had the technology I have at my disposal right now because I'd be able to further break down Gurney Gate on a whole nother level. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Essentially, Gurney Gate was about them, in my opinion. They were allegedly loading extra weight onto one team's gurney for them to carry, and then they put less weight on another team's gurney, and they made them both travel the same distance, and one team's gurney completely broke in half by the time they got to the finish line. The other team's gurney suffered no damage whatsoever, clearly showing there was different weight distributed amongst both gurneys. But you know how the show goes. They make it seem like the other team won fair and square, and ironically enough, that was the last season Leroy and Cam were both on. I think this is even more rigged than Big Brother, to be honest. I think that's a good shout, Cat. I think it definitely has the propensity to be more heavily rigged because it's rare you see unexpected people winning. It's very rare, you know? And when you can bring back people season by season and they can like virtually play 5 seasons in a row, pregame alliances come with the territory on a season like on a show like this, even more so than a Big Brother, because people expect to be invited back. So it impacts everything people do within the game in present time because they might be playing for something down the road. And I mentioned that earlier. I think Josh, to a certain extent, he pays certain dues. He does certain amount of buffooning here and there. I know business. He does a certain amount of goofy stuff. I'm a human being. All right. I mean, did you see him in KC tonight? They like dapped hands and then she kissed his hand. I'm like, what is going on here? Do we got ourselves a non-binary couple, Coach? What's going on? Okay, now that's a non-binary blindside. Da-da-dum. You feel it, dig me? Shout outs to all the BB Can 7 Rant fans. Had to throw y'all a bone there. Can you explain the challenge in simple terms for me? This is from Tempest. I want to get into it, but I just don't understand it. Okay, so the challenge is essentially if you put Survivor and Big Brother into a blender, okay? But then you allowed some ridiculousness skateboard ass motherfucker, evil Knievel ass motherfucker hosted. That's the challenge. I mean, didn't I explain that in like 5 seconds? There you go. Okay? Basically, have the host from Ridiculousness host a show that is Survivor and Big Brother put together. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what they hope it is. You know what I'm saying? But to be a little bit more serious, the challenge is essentially it's a show. It's a show that is like the pinnacle of all of these other pipeline shows. So you have Are You the One, X on the Beach, of course you got Big Brother now, Survivor now, Amazing Race now, all these other UK shows I'm not into, all these other love shows, Love Island and stuff like that. It's a whole bunch of different Jersey Shore, Geordie Shore. You got all these different shows, right? All of these different shows that are underneath the Viacom umbrella, they serve as pipelines to go to the challenge. If you choose to go. You don't have to go. Now, certain shows have you under contract a little bit longer than others. Like if you're on Big Brother, you probably can't go on the challenge for a full calendar year. That's why we didn't see Swaley until damn near BB21 was completely forgotten about, right? So it's like a time span you got to wait out if you're on Big Brother. But usually for the other shows, you don't have an embargo that is as long. It's where you get a lot of random personalities coming together and they compete versus each other. It's a very political game. If Big Brother feels like high school, where like only the popular kids do well all the time, like the blonde-haired chick always makes the end, or the alpha male white guy never gets targeted, in some way, shape, or form that happens on the challenge as well. I'd argue, though, if you're Italian, you're pretty much set up to succeed on the challenge way easier than Big Brother. Now, granted, Cody Calafiore just won Big Brother, so I guess you could argue the same thing applies to both. But even though I do believe Italians have an inherent advantage on the show, I do believe the show, at its best form, has some of the best entertainment value. Because sometimes you'll get a David and Goliath challenge that you're expecting to go a certain way, and then it completely flips on its head. Now, the biggest problem the challenge has is the spoiler community. I wish people did not share spoilers at all. I wish everyone was forced to watch an episode for the first time and not know a thing, because everyone would react at the same time to it. I think because certain people are so thirsty to figure out spoilers, I think if someone you're not into winning doesn't win, or someone you don't want to perform well performs well, you're more likely to not watch. If someone does well, you're more likely to watch it more than often. And the thing is, from a psychological standpoint, even if the person you want to win is successful, if you spoiled it for yourself, can you really enjoy the ride? That's how I look at it. I can't enjoy the ride if I look at spoilers. So I avoid them, right? Now, my skill set happens to be very good at predicting things based off of the edit. And that's why I'm okay with the spoilers' existence, because I feel like I can work my way around them by explaining them before they happen in ways even a spoiler can't. And that's where my skill set comes in handy, coach. But you already knew that because you here. You feel it, dig me. You know what I'm saying? The host was looking like his neck was injured, stiff as hell. Yeah, Basha, he's been in a lot of like real like serious accidents. Like he's like a stunt man, damn near TJ Lavin. I joke about saying he's like the host of ridiculousness, but yeah, he's like one of them extreme sport kind of guys. I wouldn't be surprised if TJ Lavin wasn't the reason why Joseph was on the season. Because I don't know who else would have recruited a black guy in BMX. Who else is going to recruit a black guy like that? Probably TJ. But shout outs to whoever their booking agent is. They really looked for this guy. But I'm rooting for this guy, Joseph, just based off of the way CT was treating him. I didn't appreciate that, man. Sometimes you could just feel the energy from somebody just being a little condescending. That came out super condescending to me. You know? What's up with this guy? And then he says, oh, people think they're just going to skate to the end. Yeah, that's really hard to do, especially for a rookie. And I'm looking like, bro, Turbo washed y'all in War of the Worlds 1. Like, what are you talking about, my guy? You know, the same season where you allowed JP to send you to the Shadow Realm CT. I'm just saying, like, let's stop acting like it's impossible. It's only impossible when y'all rig the stuff heavily. You know? Like, I believe Theo could have won War of the Worlds 1 as well, you know? But he didn't. He just didn't have it on that day. It is what it is, coach, but you know, it is what it is. But I'm just glad Georgia isn't back. I'm glad they're sticking to their guns there. I don't give a fuck if it is or isn't blackface. At the end of the day, it looked like blackface, and she should be held accountable accordingly. You know, people coming up with all these random excuses. Oh, well, you don't know what she meant by that. She was doing that to make her little sister laugh. I don't know about y'all, but I can make a kid laugh without putting black paint on my face. You know, kids are kind of simple-minded, right? You just show them a little attention, they'll chuckle a bit. You ain't got to do no extreme measures. Excuses like that, though, you got to watch the people that come up with excuses like that. You got to watch them. How do you get evicted in the challenge? Oh, well, that's the one thing I like about the challenge compared to Big Brother. In Big Brother, you can get backdoored, never have a chance to compete for your safety. In the challenge, you can always compete for your safety. In fact, it's very rare you ever see someone eliminated without having to compete for their safety. Usually, if not always, you got to go toe-to-toe with somebody. You can't be a total beta male. You can't be scared. And that's why the challenge is a game Paul Beta Hamian could never win, even though he was really good at Big Brother, right? At a certain point, Paul got to go into that challenge, and his little ass going to get sent to the Shadow Realm. You feel it, Demi? He better eat a mushroom from Super Mario Brothers, because that's the only way he going to grow some height. You feel it, dig me, coach? Like seriously. He better hope they create a Triple H competition for him. That's the only way. Matter of fact, they're going to have to make a heavy metal competition. That's the only way he's surviving, coach. Play this Guitar Hero song. All of a sudden, Paul make it to the final. That's just like Viacom, too, right? Well, Paul's at the last stage, and he finna get eliminated. Wait a minute. We got a new idea. Play Guitar Hero for your Red Skull. I wouldn't hold it past these people because they gave us the Triple H Sledgehammer comp. They gave it. You know, they gave it. Georgia is trying to sue Bear for a sex tape. Ooh, Grizzly Bear. And see, these women are so dumb. Like they and not even just the women, because the dudes are dumb too. All these dudes I see with Lori Harvey, like, bro, listen. In my opinion, I'm giving a lot of other dudes too much credit to want they sloppy seconds that bad, bruh. I don't care how bad the chick is. If you been with her, she not my type because she was with you. Now, maybe that's just too alpha male of me to say, but I feel like too many dudes, they think it's a notch on their belt to smash somebody else's ex. Yeah, bro, I had what you had. That ain't really a W for me. In fact, the other dude carries the W because it shows the chick he no longer wanted, you was simping over. That's a role reversal, coach. I'm just saying. Now, I get it. One man's trash is another man's treasure. But some of these people, they literally just want to be you for a day. Oh, I smashed her. I was him for a day. There's a lot of man fans out here in these streets. That's all I'm saying. All right? Dave, ready for this season. Yeah, shout outs to you, Woo. Shout outs to you, coach. Miss Mary says, Dave, didn't the challenge come from Real World and Roll? Oh yeah, initially it was Roll Rules versus Real World, the challenge. That was its original name. It slowly but surely started to blossom into something bigger than just Road Rules and Real World. I mean, Road Rules is like an afterthought. No one even knows what happened to that brand. Some would argue the challenge is the Road Rules brand. Real World, they say it still happens, but if a tree falls in the forest and no one's there to see it, did it happen? I haven't seen Real World in like 7 years. So, needless to be said, these shows are really important for the certain personalities that show up on a Real World or a College Hill or something like that. By the way, we need College Hill to come back. We need some black show of that type of format to come back. But yeah, sometimes you have personalities on these Real World shows that clearly could be more conducive to the challenge than to a dating show, like Are You the One or something. And I think this is where a lot of characters are brought into these other shows just to test if they understand how production works and stuff. It's almost like entry level. It's like, all right, if you show us you can be an interesting character on this X on the Beach season, we'll bring you on this. A lot of people forget, Paulie Calafiore started off on X on the Beach, then he was on the challenge. He was on there with like his girlfriend who he was cheating on, and then he got on the challenge, and then he got with Cara, and the rest was history. And then he became one of the most polarizing characters of all time because he wasn't willing to kiss ass or kiss the ring or bend the knee to get to where he wanted to be. So, yeah, the politics is really the biggest problem with the challenge. You know, the Big Brother community, I don't really see outside of the house, I don't really see people limiting your opportunities, limiting you being brought back or not. Limiting tons of different things in your everyday life. The challenge community is a little bit more toxic from the perspective of if you cross one of these people who have won multiple seasons, these people are damn near millionaires because of how many times they've won. Like a guy like Bananas, he probably has over $1 million won liquid already. Even after you take taxes out of his money, he has over $1 million. So for him, the weight he can throw around on a season is a little bit different than someone else's weight they can throw around. And it creates an uneven playing field, in my opinion, because we don't know if Bananas is offering people a spot on his First Look NBC show. We don't know if he's offering them that to jump in front of the sword so he doesn't have to compete. We don't know if he offered Rogan some money under the table to allow him to outjump him in the snow. We don't know these things. We just know what the cameraman shows us, and unfortunately, that is really the challenge's big Achilles heel. That's probably every show's that's heavily taped, heavily edited. That's probably their biggest Achilles heel, because we know what goes on behind the scenes in Big Brother because of the feeds, because there are so much we don't get to see. There are so much other things that we don't even know about. Like things could be even worse than we think it is on its surface. That's my point. And unfortunately, we'll never know the truth behind that because I don't believe the challenge will ever want to ruin the formula they have right now with live feeds. Now, I think that's the Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan version of this show. I think if you were to give live feeds, more people would pay for those probably than Big Brother. I think because you would have returning people constantly being brought back as on feeds. So eventually someone gonna slip up and say some crazy stuff. You're gonna have a lot more parties. And at the end of the day, production isn't gonna be trying to control 24/7 the same way that they do in Big Brother. I mean, Big Brother, man, they control when they sleep, they control when they're up, they control every facet, and it's because we're paying for live feeds. Now, granted, they could start changing all those things if we get live feeds as well, but you never know. One can only hope. One can only hope. Yeah, Lori, she getting passed around like a roach in a hot box, Basha. Let's just keep it all the way funky, okay? And let's be real. Will any of these dudes want her if her mom didn't marry Steve Harvey? That's what makes this weird, too. It's like, your stepdad got money, so now your pussy got more value to me. It's weird, bro. Am I the only one who look at it as weird? Your stepdad a rich mug, so I feel like I'm solidifying and certifying my richness by smashing. It's dumb. It's dumb. You know? It's dumb. But I'm starting to lose the topic of the challenge, and it lets me know I can go ahead and wrap this up, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, this was just a preseason rant. We're going to get into much more detail once the season begins. Please, once again, do not forget to become a patron today. That way, on Wednesday night, you will be here with the most lit live chat in Challenge 36 Double Agents history, ladies and gentlemen. I'm, of course, your humble host, Dave Smith, and this is Recency Bias Radio, where no one is safe from criticism.